Florida.
Nobody.
I was trying to.
Had a great time.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Real Story with Nathaniel. Our guest tonight is
Wow, incredible. Silver Age heroes. Four color highs. From the Classic Comics Forum, where the true fans rally. Just Hellas in the house now. Let's talk the real story. Hang it up.
well, Jeff, what did you think of that AI intro?
Oh my gosh. I might need about 3 minutes to recover from that. Thank you. Wow.
Well, again, are we still friends?
Oh, we are more friends than ever. That was incredible. Should I do my
welcome
poker
to the
face
show.
like, no.
I don't. Jeff, let me tell everybody who we're on the show with. People are still going to be filling in. We are here with Jeff Heller from Classics Comics Forum. They are absolutely my main now connection to toys, collectibles. I'm a minor comic book nerd, very minor, to the point where my friends who are make fun of me in much the way most people make fun of comic book nerds. But we are here, Jeff. The reason I'm on here, I told you this already. I saw an episode of yours where you were discussing a GoBot, and I was from a generation where we just immediately disrespected GoBots. You talked about it lovingly because the facts of the toy were cool, because what it could do was cool, because what it did that nothing else was doing was cool. And then I looked at other videos. Your entire world, Classic Comics Forum, is about positivity towards these things, not like overt criticism or price gouging or how can I get the most out of this box set if I do this. I love the fact that you guys are fans of the toys, of the comics, of the things. So welcome to the show. I hope that gives people an accurate drawing of what you're trying to do out there.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, actually. That wasn't really the intention I went in with. I just wanted to talk about cool toys. And the amazing thing is I was always afraid, if you put yourself out there on YouTube, what people would say, how mean people could be. And the weird part is the fans and the people who have left comments steered me towards more positivity, because I discovered anytime I went negative on something, there was always someone who would, be offended by that. But when you go awesome, when you get inspired, everybody else gets inspired too and reacts. So, I think doing this has made me more excited to try new things I've never liked before.
That's great. And you made me want to go buy that too. I can't remember what it is right now. I think I wrote it down.
Psycho.
Psycho.
Yeah.
It was, I didn't know. And then it made me rethink even Optimus Prime's trailer. At the end, I'm like, oh, that makes more sense now. And I will admit that even though I was blow off the GoBots guy, one of my favorite toys is actually the GoBots combiner. It was the cars.
Oh, yeah.
5 cars.
Puzzler.
It is probably 2 little toy mistakes away from being a great toy. Just it doesn't quite fit right, the top and bottom, and there's something else I can't remember that. Other than that, is an amazing toy. It's one of my favorite toys. When I got it, I played with it for hours, and I was
awesome.
An older teen. It was one of those things. So I love the fact you point out the good stuff. But can you tell the audience, everybody, about what Classics Comic Forum is, how it started, how long you guys have been doing this?
Oh, how long you got, man?
Right? Yeah, go to town. Give us the details.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Classic Comics Forum predates me, so I only have lore to go on. But essentially, way back in the day, there's a community that's still out there called CBR, Comic Book Resources. And they were sort of absorbing over the years different smaller.
That is over in the corner.
Oh,
very
there we go.
Very.
I was on there for a while, a long time. And they sort of absorbed smaller communities as they went over time and kind of kept finding new categories to shove these things into. And there was one category called the Classic Comics Board, I think it was, Classic Comics section. And then when they were repositioning for sale, they were looking to sell the website, they kind of got rid of the sections that weren't very profitable. And it's kind of hard to find advertisers who want to advertise people talking about 20-year-old comic books who don't want to buy stuff. So we got the axe and sort of on the fly at the last second, I sort of threw together a website and, everybody kind of followed me there and we just sort of built a new home. And that was ooh, 12 years ago, I think now. It's
Okay.
been a long time. And we've just
You
been
think we would
growing
be
ever
an
since.
interesting demographic for people who want to sell stuff?
Yeah, I
You
think
know,
so.
when I watch some of the shows that I used to love as a kid, when I watch the repeats, now I'm getting advertisements for what are the cricket phones or like just
Yeah,
all like, hey, don't forget your AARP membership. Like,
right.
we buy stuff, so like
Yeah.
support our forums.
Yeah, the adult
So
diapers might be good for us, but otherwise, we're old guys who like our old things. The new omnibuses probably aren't going to appeal to us too much. The sales aren't really there. So what's cool is we're not officially nonprofit, but we're a not-for-profit community that just sort of runs on its own steam, and that's always been enough for us. And it's just my favorite place to be.
So are there leaders? Are you a leader in there? Are you just another contributor? Or even if you are a leader, you just consider yourself another contributor? It's kind of
I'm sort of the reluctant leader. There are other
yes.
I get out of it as much as I possibly can. And it's a great group. You don't have to do too much leading. We've got a great team of moderators who do a lot of the work. Occasionally I have to be, the big decision maker. But yeah, normally I'm just a nerd who hangs out there. That's how I like it.
I miss those days. I used to do bulletin board systems a lot back in the
Exactly.
before the internet and the early days of the internet. And that community is hard to find, hard to build, hard to keep a hold of. Everything wants their attention, like some new social media platform comes out and
Right.
you have to have something to keep them coming back.
I'm a firm believer still that the bulletin board format is the most efficient way ever to communicate, and in the age of Facebook and all those other things too, they've created these online groups that are more convenient. It's more accessible, but it's not the same quality of conversation. I can't tell you, I'm a member of a lot of those groups, and you see a really cool post or conversation, you want to go back to it, and finding that conversation again is maddening, and finding the individual post, the reply to it is even harder. You can't really talk to people.
It's almost anti-threading in the or like where Reddit does have a lot of that built in, which is nice. Facebook went for profile based. So
Yes.
it's about who you're looking at and what they said. It's not about being involved in community. Even when they have community forums, and I started one that's massive, handed it off. It was so big. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It wasn't conducive towards real communication, towards community building. It would get news out there, and people would be able to piss each other off, and but it wasn't great towards community building. When you have a subject to talk around, be it like your favorite comic era, to your favorite toy, yeah, I think that's what helps build. And bulletin boards are built around, oh, you want to talk about this? You go to this subsection and talk about this, and
Absolutely.
you stay within these rules. They're going to be different from over here. And I think that mattered the most, like just being built around a subject instead of I happen to be in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I had that community. Now I needed a closer community. Now I needed people that got, why do you have a closet full of Voltrons? Not a lot of people understand that. You might, I don't know if you've ever.
It's cheaper than therapy.
And there are worse things that could be in your closet, to be fair. So
I mean,
what do you have? And this is actually this. I was curious if you have a favorite toy, like your something that is something like if you see it on the shelf, you're gonna pick it up and look to see if it's a good enough price to get another one.
Oof.
No matter how many you have.
All right, so I have one that I've built up too much because I owned it years ago and had to sell it to make rent, and I will never be able to afford it again. I know if I ever had it again, it would be so disappointing. It couldn't possibly live up to the hype. But in 1982, Diaclone, which was the predecessor to Transformers, had this giant robot known as Fortress X. And everyone knows the first one, which was great robot based, but Fortress X had like working elevators that went from like the foot up the leg into the chest, across the chest, down into the arms. Like you could move little figures all throughout this robot. And if I ever saw it again for a price I could afford, I would probably buy 20,000 of them if I could. That toy just rocks my world so much.
As a collector / fan of, if somebody came up with a very decent modern, not knockoff, but like even a licensed, would you buy that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Totally.
I always wondered, like, there's a lot of toys out there I wish would come back in similar quality, and the bigger ones usually do. But there's so many that I wish did, and the ones that do, like Evil Knievel was a toy that I loved.
Yeah.
But when they came back with it, they used crappy gears, and you could only run it like twice before it broke. And I was like, what a shame. Like all you had to do was like, I get it, you have to get it at a price point, but make it work reliably. That's what the toy was known for.
Right.
I wonder about stuff like that. And like, that's the one thing that for me, I love the toy. I will always buy a good version of it, as long as it's well made and it's not just hey, we put new stickers in a different place and call it something else. But that always bugged me, unless I was going for a set and there was only 2 or 3. But like at a certain point, I think certain toys or collections just went crazy with it. Well, these eyes are closed. Pops, vinyl pops. I can't do them anymore. I can't get interested. There's just too much. There's nothing for me in it anymore.
It's churned out so quickly. It lacks a substance to it. And this when toys were designed to be a kid's best friend, when there was a lot of imagination and thought, and it wasn't just pumping something out to make a buck.
I have a theory on Pops, and I wonder what you think of it. In that, Pops came out right when we stopped buying DVDs and physical media and CDs. They were a replacement for owning the cover of an album or a DVD. Okay,
I could see that.
You could download it, but you couldn't prove to your friends you liked it.
Right, yeah. And, that's a good point, because I remember, a big thing when, we were younger was when you went to somebody's home, you the first thing you did was you looked at either their bookshelf or their DVD shelf. You knew everything about them. So maybe in the age of streaming, you look at their Funkos instead.
I think that's got to be it, right? Like, or at least their desk at work.
Yeah.
Like you walk into any cubicle farm and you look down, you're going to see a Pop on every third desk. It could be a nurse, it could be Frankenstein, it could be, you don't know. But yeah, that'll tell you about them.
Every Pop I have was given to me by somebody else who thought I'd like it. So it tells a story of a fictional version of me, I suppose.
There's that. I think I might have bought 1 or 2 for myself. I can't remember, like a Rick or Morty. But I have all the Voltrons. Even though I love Voltron, I never bought them. People know, like, it's a great gift for me. Yeah, you could get that for me. I do not own it yet. You be sure of that.
I'll keep that in mind this Christmas.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I
do like the idea. At some point, it became so saturated because there's so many characters and so many, so much fiction that everybody who looks like us just was like the same Pop. Like, with or without, it was like, oh, it's Jim from The Office, or it's Michael Scott, or it's, and it was all the same character. And you're just like, you could just.
It had to be different.
Right.
That's Drew Carey. That's Drew Carey. Sorry.
Yeah. That was a ton of Funkos in a giant pit somewhere. That company's doing well.
Yeah. You were talking about handing off, Pop, was I guess CDs begat Pop. One thing that just dawned on me, you were talking about CBR right out of the gate. Wizard Magazine, I think, would be the predecessor to CBR. I feel like, cracking open a new Wizard Magazine was like just the greatest feeling as a nerd. And it's like, once that like dissolved, it just like my heart broke. And it was like CBR was like obviously the next hi, words are a thing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Were you prepared to speak today?
No, I'm a narcissist. Of course I am.
I will say that there's one thing in my life that of all those, the pop culture of the past was the Toy Fair theater, bizarre theater. What was it called? Seth Green.
Twisted Toy Fair Theater?
Yeah, Twisted Toy Fair Theater.
Yeah.
I would buy those magazines just for that, but then I got sucked into everything else, and the price stuff never mattered to me. But like, oh, that looks cool. Maybe I should check out that. I miss those days. And then, like you said, I was surrounded by comic. Like my friend Will, who may even be watching this right now. I think he has the largest collection in Pennsylvania, if not like on his app. Like he has an app where he does everything, and his collection is massive, just massive. I don't know how his house is still standing. He's that guy, and he loves it. He reads every single one, catalogs it, knows he's a very fact-oriented history guy about all that stuff. You guys would get along, but for very different reasons, probably, I think, than you'd suspect, just because I like being surrounded by people that have a passion for something. And I want to ask, do you go to a lot of conventions? Or are you now known at conventions? People, hey, that's CCF Jeff.
I've been recognized in a few places, but I don't think I'm at that level yet.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
I got noticed a Ren Fair. Guys like, I know that dude from YouTube. And I'm like, hi. But,
they just yelled that to everybody, I think, at a Ren Fair.
That's a great hello. Don't you think?
If you yell that, at least 5 people are looking.
Right. Just change the platform each time, maybe don't include OnlyFans.
Well, your new videos are really like,
or do.
I loved watching when I saw that the subject matter was a GoBot. It's such a small, refined subject, but the number of views you got on it, that says a lot about what you're delivering. Because there's probably 1,000 videos on Psycho, and you're killing them all. Like, you actually gave new information. I'm sure you got some information from here and there, but like, you put it all in place in a way that was enjoyable. And yeah, is that going to be your focus going forward? Are you going to do more comic stuff? Are you going to do more movie stuff? It's hard when you have a channel.
Yeah. The advice they always give on YouTube is do the same thing over and over and over and over again, and that's never been me. I'm trying to do it all. Yep. The Transformers one is what people want to see, so I'm doing that the most. But I did just recently do a new classic Chiller Films episode that nobody watched. I got a Spinner Rack Redux one I'm going to do soon that nobody's going to watch, but they make me happy.
I love it. Yeah, we have projects we've worked on since 2020. We have one before, but we can't talk about that here.
Ooh, enticing.
But yeah, no, it's an embarrassing story more than anything. But like, we've been doing projects here and there. We have other projects on the side. We do a thing with Tanya Memi. She did Sell This House for 15 years. She's one of the first like Decorate This House hosts. Anyway, so we do all these other things, and I can't not do the same. I can't do the same thing over and over. I don't care what YouTube tells me to do. In shorts, I see you have some shorts too, but I think you're feeling the same way I feel about shorts.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. My friend George does most of the shorts now. That's his thing. It's not my language.
Yeah, we're trying.
I want to go deep.
I prefer long format. I like talking. I like covering every base. And probably going on a little too far as fans of this show will tell you. He should have done that conversation 20 minutes ago.
His closet should have ended right there.
So hey, Jeff, we're gonna nerd out here for sure in a little bit.
Please.
Before we do, I want to just talk about the YouTube channel itself, just real quick, so people know you have a YouTube channel, and it's a very healthy place. It is a wonderful. You should subscribe if you're watching this. You probably already know Jeff, or you caught on to this. And I'm here to help promote that channel because I want to see more. I want to see it become a light in your day sort of thing, because it's worth it. You're really doing that well with it. Can you tell us like when the channel got started and what the original, you guys are let's do a YouTube channel. Take me to that day.
Oh, well, original 2019, which is when YouTube shows it first started.
A pre-COVID show?
Well, yes and no, because what it originally was we were locked up in COVID, and my daughters wanted something to do, so I built them a YouTube channel using the email address from the CCF. So the original videos, there's probably some like, now 17-year-old kids with a link that's 10 years, that's, a bunch of years old, going in to see their old videos, and instead it's now like the Classic Comics Forum. So if you want to see kids dancing and singing along to, whatever was popular in 2019, that's what it was for a long time. And then
Baby Shark.
We didn't do Baby Shark. It would have been cool if we did. We did I don't remember the names that were famous back then, but it was definitely stuff, music I was kind of cringing to, but they were having a good time.
Hey, so all that matters.
Yeah, you can't see those anymore. They're hidden now. Only people who know have the link. But yeah, I don't actually remember how I started doing this. I know I had a bunch of toys I got from, I think it was AliExpress or something, and they were so cool, and I kind of wanted to talk to someone about it, and I didn't. There's nobody in my life, as a human being off the internet, that collects toys. I'm like the only one. And at the Classic Comics Forum, there was at the time a little bit of conversation, but not much about it. So I wanted to reach other people, and I was like, I'll make a video. We'll see what it does. I had a buddy who had a YouTube channel, and he was brave enough to try it, and it was working. So I figured I'd try it too. And I did not expect to get the response I did. I thought maybe like 50 people would check it out and give me like 3 likes, and then it got a reaction. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. What else do I want to talk about?
Yeah.
Right. And so years ago, I was going to write a book about the history of transforming toys, probably back in 2000. And I gave up on it because I realized it was too long a story. the book would never have a beginning or an end. It
Sure.
just keeps going. And I just sort of got into that. And people reacted to it. So I've kind of been going ever since. And I never quite know what I'm going to do next. But the fun of it is I'm learning along with them each time. You brought up the GoBots episode. I hated GoBots as a kid too. I was a snob. The commercials raised you to believe if it didn't have the Transformers rub sticker, it wasn't a Transformer.
Right.
I was the kid who was like, ew, I don't need any of that. But now these days I'm like, oh, those were actually kind of cool. And like, I hear in the comments, people are like, talk about select converters. I'm like, what the frick is a select converter? I look it up. I'm like, I had that toy. And now I want to do an episode about it. It's the community.
What is
really
a select converter?
They were okay.
Me.
Imagine GoBots, but cheaper.
Like
it was
the Rockbots that were not Transformers.
Yeah, kind of. So they didn't use die-cast for the most part, and the one everybody had for some reason was a blue like Falcon that turned into a robot. Like everybody had this toy.
That sounds familiar.
Everybody had this
up, like was a long unbending neck, like it was like a platform. Is that what I'm remembering?
Kind of, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody had these toys and forgot about them. And
I had a drawer full of stuff that wasn't anything that I don't even know where it came from. It was like found on a floor in a toy store or what, like just five and dime. Although part of my Voltron collection is I don't know who made it, but it's the cheapest, most plastic garbage. It was from their 3D Voltron line, and I don't know who made it, but they got the dies and made garbage version of it. I had to buy it. But like, yeah, I do remember like they weren't any brand. It was just like, here's the thing. Like
Grandma wanted to buy you a Transformer for Christmas and went cheap and thought this would be good enough. That stuff is old to me now because it's like there isn't a lot of information out there about it. And when you've spent 20 years collecting Transformers, you've seen it all and done it all. And then like you get excited all over again. Like nostalgia gets reactivated and it's new all over. And that's kind of what I love doing.
I get that feeling because you look over this is the Gen 1 and everybody knows that picture. I said it in your head and you saw the picture of what Gen 1 looks like on the internet and the back of a box. I'm like, and so I have that, most of that one I'll never have. And you get that picture and nothing surprises you because there was nothing that wasn't in that picture.
Right.
And that's what like GoBots and those other toys, especially the randoms, like you remember that, like even some squirt guns, if somebody showed me a squirt gun that I had at a certain age, like that's that summer. That squirt gun meant that summer. Like it's an ugly, no brand, orangish yellow squirt gun, but little things matter. And you brought up a memory that I have. I remember I got it at a department store called Hills. Might have been in your area too. And it was a Christmas return or something. The box wasn't right, but I remember it was a white and red spaceship that you could break into like 3 different pieces and combine it into something else. It didn't really transform as much as you could take, kind of like the Audit Space 1999 ship. You could take the front and back off and make a mini ship, but it was smaller. It kind of looked like a Jetfire sort of thing, and parts would pop off. Never know who made it. I'm still always looking for a YouTube video of somebody who has it. I've looked up classic combiner toys, classic even Transformer toys, classic robot toys, classic. Can't find it. Someday it's going to appear, and I'm going to have a heart attack and die because like. Why can't I remember enough details to look this up? Because I'm usually pretty good, but someday.
I'm excited.
Someday, I even went on Reddit once and help me find, and everybody's like, "You're crazy. It never existed." Or they give me all the bad answers, like, "Clearly, that's Optimus Prime." Right. I know that one. That one's good. Hey, before we go, we're gonna nerd out, everybody. If you're looking for a serious conversation, we want your questions. Please put them in chat. Any question at all for Jeff? I don't think we're going to play Stump the Jeff or anything like that. But if you have, if you have questions, feel free to put them up about Jeff himself, about CCF, about your favorite toy, comics, whatever. Let's liven it up. You're part of the conversation too. Before we get to that part, let's get up what we have coming up on the show, because Sunday we have our special guest Uwe Boll returning for the 3rd time. And I know I probably threw Josh off with that to throw that on the screen. There it is. Wanted to vamp a little bit. Uwe Boll here. It's a special 10 a.m. Wow, I cut that 10 off pretty close to the edge there. 10 a.m. Sunday. It's because he's calling into the show from Germany. It's going to be a good time for him. We'll be a little hungover, I'm sure. So tune in, hear about his upcoming movies, including some things that might be relevant to this discussion. After that, we have Gary Bishop from public domain superheroes, which definitely applies to this conversation. He is in charge of building a community and gathering all the public domain comic book heroes into one place. He has countdowns on Conan and Superman, and he's trying to unite authors and people that want to work with this material and further it in these interests. So interested to talk to him. After that, on March 12th, they have Paul Van Scott. He does all the retro countdown stuff. So you've seen him on YouTube. Very cool, very retro guy, making March pretty retro-y. And then at the end of March, we have Brian Hazard. Brian Hazard has created a role-playing game that doesn't require Dungeon Master. So you and a couple of your friends get together, and you don't need a DM. You all get to be involved. You all get to solve the puzzle together. And we're going to play one of his games as part of our interview. So it's going to be a short interview, and we're going to play a live game with him so we can all check it out and see what that's like. That's it for March. Let's get back to Jeff here. Jeff, thanks for taking a break with us. I hate doing that stuff, but
I know it's cool.
I'm excited about what's coming up. I really am. So your first toy collection, was it Transformers? And when did it go from I have a bunch of these to it's a collection and you got serious about it?
I think my first toys, Adventure People, Fisher Price, if you remember those guys.
Fisher Price still has really amazingly weird figures. I send them out as gifts to family. Like, nobody wants this, and why is she holding a fish? But here you go.
Why is she holding a fish should be the title of a book. I would definitely read that. But, I loved action figures were around me from, the time I was old enough to crawl, I think. And Masters of the Universe was kind of my first real obsession. And my real love as a kid, I was really into the Kenner Superpowers toys. That was my favorite. I love Transformers, but they were not my number one. I remember really getting into them. But that was the same year Superpowers came out, and Superpowers was Batman and Superman. How could you beat that? So I mean,
I was a Super Friends kid. Every episode, every time it was on TV, I don't care if I'd seen it a million times, I'm watching it again.
And you squeeze the legs and they go like this. I mean, that was, how could you not? But
I have a Conan where you squeeze his legs and he goes like this, and it looks very, very adult.
If you squeeze most people's legs, they'll go like this. It's actually amazing. But,
I'll try that tomorrow. I will. I'll let you know how it goes.
I don't recommend it, but it's a good story to tell afterwards.
Science. So it's science. People forgive science.
Yeah, Transformers actually came to respect more as I got older. It was weird. I had a friend who had an older brother who, in the 1990s, he had this giant collection that you weren't allowed to touch of Transformers, and he had Fortress Maximus, which I'd never seen before. It was this foot tall, Transformer. And I got my buddy, I don't know how I conned him into doing this, but I somehow convinced my buddy when his brother was not home to let me transform Fortress Maximus and transform back before his brother got home. I don't know what I offered him or how I got him to do that, but it was incredible. And
I have most of him upstairs.
Oh yeah,
that's the problem with Fortress Maximus.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll never have all of him. No, that's really cool. So when did you consider yourself a toy collector? It's kind of when was that point?
eBay. When I first discovered eBay in 1999, my mom was obsessed with it, and we're talking on the phone. I was at college, and she said, "What is one thing you miss from your childhood so I can get it for you?" And I thought about it, and I was like, Optimus Prime was pretty cool back in the day. It'd be great to have him again. So she got me the wrong Optimus Prime, and that actually kind of sparked my interest more. She got me the Power Master one, which was this whole sophisticated toy I'd never seen before. And I suddenly realized there were Transformers I'd never seen. And I started getting on eBay, and that was dangerous. And I started finding online communities where other people were getting on eBay and buying Transformers. And then I was a collector. There really wasn't an evolution from childhood up. It really started, when I was in college.
I'll tell you, I don't consider myself a collector. I'm a thrift store guy. I will complete stuff if I'm that close. But I was a video game collector, and everything had to come a thrift store. My rule was I have to find it in the wild, because I could spend the money on the expensive carts or the expensive toys. And that seems like cheating. I want to get everything for a bargain. So to this day, and this was not lead into this, I was going to save this for later. I go to a thrift store, and my eyes are always open looking for stuff. And late last year, I ran in and I found this just sitting on a shelf in Goodwill.
Wow. Nice find.
they didn't, because it doesn't have the box. They didn't know what they had, and I was like, wait a minute, that's
a gorgeous shape, and it's the one with the chrome legs too. Like that's a beauty.
And he has a lot of the pieces. So, but also it came with. I'm not sure who these guys are. I think, are they Mask?
Yes, that's Mask for sure.
I got 3 of those in the box.
There you go.
And wait, this is my favorite part of the box. This is why everybody should thrift store, because I'm sure I could get more than the $7 I spent for this. But it's not about that. It's about like, I have this cool thing, and maybe somebody can complete a collection. But it came with this wonderful coupon for saving 25 cents on Gordon's fish sticks. So,
ooh, that's the find right there.
That's it. So like, I actually spent $6.75 on that box.
Is there expiration date in that coupon?
I don't know. These old ones didn't have one. I had a Lego $2 off a box of Legos or something like that didn't expire, and I tried using it. No expiration date. It says it right on top on the.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that at the store. See what happens
with that right now. Well, have a revolution.
Will I have to eat the fish sticks? So, guys, you can jump on the screens. We're gonna riff here on toys and randomness and just have fun with it, because I've shown off my toy.
Unfortunately,
that was
yikes. Josh, you want to kick this off, because I can't find mine. I had a full set of California raisins I was going to show, and for some reason they're not in the spot that I left them. So
they move on their own.
Huh? So back in like the 90s. So I always say, like, we grew up in the greatest generation, period, bar none. Best cartoons.
Mine was a little better.
Debatable. I mean, did you have Battle Beasts?
Yes.
I mean, Adam West on TV.
You did have Adam West on TV. Like, we actually had toys that you would dip into water and they would dissolve, and you're like, you found out which rarity. That started that trend. Like, I mean, I don't know what kind of diseases you got from that, because it was, again, the 80s, 90s. But at the same time, like, you would literally just dip it in and be like, okay, here's a toy that I have. I mean, that is, Battle Beasts were goated, because it was just, you would put your finger up, and it was like a mood ring for like boys. Like, right. You go, oh, this is the, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, you'd have elementals, right? Like, they were like, yeah. And so then it was like rock, paper, scissors when you battled them. It was Pokemon. I'm going to keep comparing them to other things that exist. I hope you guys are along for the ride.
Well, no, you have to sometimes. Like, describe an 8-track to somebody who's never held one.
It's one more track than 7.
It's like a cassette
tape that goes in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
but you have to compare it. You
yeah. So, I mean, it's so going back to it, California Raisins were, you know, from a young boy, it was like, you know, they sung music. And that was, again, a lot of the cartoons, Paul Abdul, looking at you, like, they were trying to find a way to
don't
tap adult
shit on MC Scat Cat.
The fact that you first Scat Cat, okay?
Anyway, move on. Too.
But California Raisins, like, they just straight up, I hate that you have that's AI. I need to make that very clear. I look like an angry pirate. But those are the toys. Those are very accurate. Both, I mean, they even got the hairstyle. Wow. Those are the toys that I have. That is not me, but yeah. So anyway, the point is they had a cartoon with it. Never all. I'm going to move on. they made children's toys and everything. Do you remember Toxic Avenger? Like an actual murder show that was amazing. And then like, we need to make for children. Can we do Toxic Crusaders? And then they released the toys and they just took off. RoboCop. Yeah, same thing. Like just,
Rambo.
Do you remember the Terminator 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger figure that literally the pieces blew apart? His like skin flew off.
Yes.
Like for kids.
Yes.
It was incredible. Yes. And there's a special chamber you could put the skin back on again. Like, I probably need therapy for that, but it was fun.
It was jarring because that's, again, I hate to do the whole like compare generations, yada yada, but like that stuff was traumatizing to its core. I mean, the scene from RoboCop hurt feelings to the core.
When Murphy, when he gets gunned down, I was a teenager. I thought I was jaded. That movie
started. Red from that '70s show do that? Like,
first off, Red's a badass. If he puts his foot in your ass, he's putting his foot in your ass. Like, that's Clarence Bodeker's foot. Every time he yelled at Eric, I was a little more scared for Eric than Eric should have been.
But yeah, so anyway, the only thing that would make it better, like more jarring, is if you actually had a R-Tax from Neverending Story action figure, but it's just like this much, like head and then body, with a little boy going, "Come on!"
No, it's
and like
just
the CEO of Hasbro just counting his money, laughing, walking away from the boy. Like that would just be that would be goated right there.
We should sell that Artex after, and it's just a little bucket with mud in it.
Yeah, it's glue. It's just
the slogan would be "Fight the sadness." It would be amazing.
Oh my God! Okay. We need a T-shirt. Like immediately, write this down, Josh. Fight the sadness.
Did you see, by the way, that somebody used AI to fix Artax sinking in the swamp?
Really?
No, and I don't want to.
He walks out. They go to town. They get a beer.
Okay, it does.
That's impressive.
But yeah, so like again, being from the '80s, like the you touched on this earlier, Nathaniel, was like the best toys were ones that actually interacted with other toys. So I mentioned Battle Beast. You mentioned, Voltron. You and I had a lengthy conversation about Voltron, piecing those things together. Obviously Transformers, but it's like all these things that like it wasn't just a toy you bought and then eventually like put down. It was something that like correlated to this whole universe of like toys that you'd play with your friends, and they would have stuff that fit into this universe, and then it became like almost like baseball cards essentially.
Yeah, you were building universes.
Yeah, Transformers were fidget spinners before fidget spinners.
Yeah.
So, anybody got any?
Tactile thing it's soothing.
When you were bored or anxious, you just pick it up and you're like doing the thing that you've done a million times, and you do it so well and fluidly. Like it's a fidget spinner for a more complicated mind, because I still have to slam the younger generation. I don't know.
You just transform back and forth all the time. It feels good.
I think honestly, it's just that we do change what we do. We change what we do it with, but we don't change what we do. There's still that love of childhood. There's still the needing to keep your hands busy. There's still storytelling. There's still passing stories on from one to the other. And all these stories, not all of them. Some are like there are very big differences, but they're teaching morality in different eras. And it's usually the same morality anyway. That's what I love about it. Like, I just wish more toys were more interactive instead of, hey, if you have an app on your phone, you can make this thing dance on the phone, and you just point your camera at it. Like, that's not a toy. That's just sell me the app.
Well, I think one of the most precious things about the toys we grew up with is it's almost like a currency in nostalgia. You have a toy, and I had that toy. We talked about it, and it's a connection to our pasts. It's a beginning of a story of who you are.
Yeah.
I think it helps connect, because how many people, like, if you talk about, I had, why can't I think of his name? The bad guy, Transformer.
Megatron.
Which one? Yeah.
Well, no, but like Megatron, just for what reason, was like you talked to somebody about the original Megatron. You both lived at a certain period of your lives when that was weird or interesting, and I had a gun toy that like transformed into a robot, and that's bizarre. And like you discuss, and then how fun he was to transform, like just sitting there in your bed, like doing it over, and you do this and you pose it and you try to do that. I love that feeling. And when you talk about that and somebody else gets it, you're connected. You can't hate that person very easily. They're human as you are.
With a gun in my bed, and it was awesome. And they get that.
Yeah. And my gun, for some reason, had a shoulder stock.
Now they have to make the tip of the gun orange, or else problems can ensue. 80s things.
Can I ask you this? Did they ever actually re-release him as a gun?
They did in Japan, but they can't do it here. And even trying to import it to here, it's been intercepted by the Postal Service so many times, because people are sensitive about a toy that looks like a gun now, obviously. So now he's a tank.
It makes sense, but still.
Yeah, it does. But if adults want to have,
I know.
So it's essentially like Hasbro's version of like the Jart, the lawn dart. Is like you just can't black market that straight up. So
people are furious now because they're doing the Hasbro is reissuing every property as many times as they possibly can, and they're doing the Transformers '86 versions of these toys, where they made an Optimus Prime looks just like the movie, and a Starscream, and the Insecticons, and then Megatron. They had to make a tank, and people are losing their minds over this because it's like rewriting history.
Jeff, can I ask you a quick question about like your thoughts on Gunpla? Then this is kind of like the next evolution. Yeah, right. Get Zaz out of here. I'm out, guys. Later.
Sorry, what was your question again? Oh, he actually left. Okay.
Yeah, no.
And we didn't do an intro for him, so
Your thoughts on Gunpla? Like, I mean, we're talking about Transformers, and basically Gunpla is robotic based. I mean, everything from like things that I can think of and examples that I can think of. But Hasbro has like a bunch of Transformers in there. Why is my brain stopping now? I got a bunch of Gunpla here. But how does that fit into your thoughts on the scene of a toy design in general?
I'll be honest, I've never taken a leap, and I've been thinking about it quite a lot because they've reissued. Bandai is doing like all of these Gunpla versions of these old 80s like super robots you can't possibly afford anymore, and they look just like the real thing. So I've been thinking about it, but I don't actually know what I'm gonna get. So you might know more than I do.
Josh and I we talked about it recently. Wasn't there one Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Transformer combo they released recently? It was like $400. It was something. It was
ridiculous, but it looked.
It was a crazy amount of money. But I mean, obviously, these things scale from anything from like $20, where you do this cute little, it's like 25 pieces, and it's still a lot of fun. And to like a large thousands of pieces, very realistic, like battle damage, and you can do poses. But I mean, again, they're not per se toys. They're not toys, essentially, I guess. But the idea is still there that you're interacting and adding on, because with the Transformer ones, you could add pieces onto it. No, not Transformers, Voltron. So,
I will say this though: any building system is a toy, to me.
True.
Unless it's meant for living in or constructing like buildings, where like a puzzle, a basic 200-piece puzzle is a toy. To me. It uses your mind. It distracts you. It's fun. So
on the other end of that, you have some of those really sophisticated museum level pieces that theoretically can transform, but you can tell they weren't designed to be transformed more than like 2 times ever, or those hinges are all going to break off. And they call that a toy. Is it a toy? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right there. But if you're not playing with it, I don't know. That's why I take my toys out of the box and I piss people off. Like, that could be collectible someday. And the only thing I haven't done with it is Lego Voltron. I know it's probably not even going to lose much value by taking out of the box, as long as I keep all the Legos. But in general, all my toys get played with. That's why I bought them, to enjoy them, to feel them. So I was going to ask you about that. Do you have many toys that are still in the box?
None. Not a one. I feel the exact same way. The episode I just did on the
that makes me happy.
The Starscream knockoff, the Phantom from Transistor Robots. I bought that thing and I don't think it had ever been taken out of the box. And I busted out on camera and I'm like, I'm going to break this thing the first time through. But it was mints. Like it was incredible. I'm transforming this toy and I can tell it's never been transformed.
You know that sound.
Right.
That plastic on plastic first bend.
And as a comic collector too, I've never understood. No, I understand, but I'm never going to be one of those people who like CGCs my comics. Where it goes encased in this big thing where you can never open it and read it. And it's like, well, then just buy a poster. I want to read and touch the comic book and feel the history. And I want to transform the toy and play with it and be 5 years old again for 5 seconds.
Man, I feel like that's such a 90s aughts thing where like comics, like they started like creating these specifically collector editions where you weren't supposed to touch. I have a Lobo versus Superman with like decals. Remember old decals? Stickers. And it was them fighting, and you could just you put them on the daily plan. This is mullet Superman, by the way, guys. I don't know if you know, at one point in time in the late 90s, they were like, what makes Superman cool? What? A mullet. And
they killed him. They killed him for it. Remember?
No, that was post-killing. Oh,
that was the
yeah.
It was like I saw death and I learned I needed a new haircut. That's what it taught me.
It's wonderful. It was a wonderful time to be alive. And there was like 30 of them, and one like had a belt that was on its side. And he was like, yeah, bowl cut, but anyway. So the point being was, they're like, I had a friend who bought 2 copies of every comic. And he was like, I can open the one, but keep the other. And we're just kids. We're kids. And I understand collecting, don't get me wrong. But like when it came to these issues, like, where you had the decals, remember Shrinky Dinks, by the way? But
they're back in a big way, by the way.
Really? Do they still contain terrible I mean, I love
Target has them.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, the point being,
that was wild.
What's that?
Color Forms came back. You remember
Color Forms came back?
Wow.
I still remember the smell of color
yeah.
forms, like that vinyl, staticky. Yeah, beautiful stuff.
I
Plastic
remember what it
bubbles.
felt like to chew on them because I was that kid.
Nice.
Texture. It's a texture. It's cool. It's like a gummy. Yeah, I get you.
It's
I'm
the
not even
difference.
making fun of you for that.
I feel like there's a Venn diagram right now being built going toxic chemicals and being a YouTuber. Like right now. It's fantastic.
It finally
argument.
explains everything.
We're here, boys.
Did you chew
Look
too
at those
many
bu-
pen caps?
What?
Yeah.
Did you chew too many pen caps? You might
Like,
be a
define too many?
YouTuber. You ever chew it so long you gagged a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
When that juice would suddenly shoot down your throat unexpectedly, you knew you went too far.
All right, Twitch, we're going to take a break right now to let you know that hi.
Thanks. No, you're 100% right. Never talk to a nostalgia person about feelings. Like, you remember that feeling in your throat? Yeah. You ever get a Lego stuck in you? Yeah, I remember that feeling too. We didn't talk much about comics, but like, did you comics come later, or were it just like they filtered in and you again got serious at a certain point?
I was always obsessed with superheroes. So, like, as soon as I knew how to read, I was grabbing comic books off the shelves. But I was born a little too late, for comics that were aimed at kids. I was learning how to read in like the mid 1980s, and comics were getting like super sophisticated and full of dense prose. The first Batman comic I ever bought, I was at a dime. I'm 5 years old. My mom buys me this comic. I've gone back and read it as an adult. It is a story. I swear I'm not making this up. The entire story is centered on a tree being knocked down that is a symbol for urban renewal. And I'm a 5-year-old reading this going,
I get the symbology here. Yes, that's the metaphor of the tree.
Interesting point. Thank you. Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. I wanted to see good guys fight bad guys. So it took a while for me to be able to really appreciate, comic books as a medium itself. But I always wanted to be a comic book fan. And as I've gotten older, I've actually realized the stuff I love the most was published before I was born. I'm a big 70s and early 80s guy.
Dude, if it ends in one issue and there's still another story tacked onto the end because they're trying to sell another comic book like Black Widow or something, like I'm in. Like I want Superman to do something completely stupid and it to be fine at the end and Lois doesn't know who he is. Like I love that. In the 90s, early 90s, I bought I was the guy who haunted the 10-cent comic bins at Ides, which we need to bring up. If there's a 10-cent comic box, I was in it. And I bought that stuff. And as we get into Ides, because we talked before the show, anybody listening, about Ides, the best comic book store in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go East Coast, and New York's going to get pissed.
Possibly the entire region of the country.
It's that amazing of a place. Been around forever, feeding Pittsburghers and nerds everywhere for decades. Unfortunately, the book that I was going to bring up earlier, because we talked about turtles, we talked about comics. Have you ever heard of Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Hamsters?
I had it.
I had the first 4 issues of that too.
Wasn't there black belt in there somewhere too? Like that
black
was one
belt,
of the
black
words?
belt,
Yeah.
not samurai. Black belt. And I got rid of them. I don't know why.
I was obsessed with turtles in 1989 or 90, whenever that was, and anything that even looked remotely like them, I bought. It's actually how I became a Usagi Yojimbo fan, which I'm a diehard fan of today.
See, you're in the right place, and I can't believe Josh is off the screen. He probably had to go do something, but Jimbo was the best. Just sorry, like I love the turtles. They were a little bit too late for me, the older teen, like they were getting big, but I collected them, and Jimbo was. I mean, everybody like saw you, Jimbo. Just looked at that, and then I read the comics. And a friend of mine was very much into Cerebus, who on a very early version of this show. We talked to people that made the movie a couple of years ago.
Wow.
There's a Cerebus movie. I always say it's Cerebus or Cerberus, but Cerberus is wrong. It's Cerebus.
It was supposed to be Cerberus. They screwed it up.
And Jimbo was in there in an issue of that, along with the Turtles.
He was?
They had crossovers. Yeah.
Well, I know the Turtles showed up in Cerebus. I didn't know Usagi was in there.
I think he was in a year before, right around that same time frame. Yeah.
Wow.
As I remember it, I might have been reading the same stuff and drunk, but I remember him being in there. Like I remember the Turtles being in there, and then I remember him becoming Pope.
Yep.
So,
I mean, that really happened. You weren't drunk for that part. Dave Sim might have been.
Dave was definitely. He was on something.
To go back to your Batman story real quick, and referring to the tree,
no.
DC was really known for that because one of my first comics when I was a child, my mom was a tomboy farm girl, and she gave me a stack of comics all from like, the 60s and 70s, and one of them was like a Green Lantern and Green Arrow. And when you hear those two names, you're like, oh, this is going to be the most epic takedown of a bad guy. I can't wait to read this. And then you open it and you read it, and it's about urban development and how Green Arrow is going to teach Green Lantern that, hey, you're up there saving the galaxies. By the way, us little people down here, by the way, Green Arrow, billionaire. He's like, you need to focus on the little man. And it was just like, I'm reading this going, okay, so when are we going to punch somebody in the face? Like, did not happen. So anyway,
bold
DC
stuff. But if you're a Hal Jordan fan, it was a little bit rough. But that was all Denny O'Neil. He was the social consciousness guy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's by the way, the new Miss Marvel is actually Spectrum, and her first appearance, I think, in the 90s was also another one of those too. I think it said "Stop the Hate" was on the cover, and then she's the new Miss Marvel. I guess it's going to be. Anyway, how you guys doing?
No, I never. So my thing was, I grew up on the very cheap. Like, I read the ads as much as I read the comics, and it's a shame that I've looked for entire channels on YouTube or somebody that would actually every once in a while find somebody that has a toy that was in there. I want to see a review of every toy that was in every comic from the 70s to the 90s, like, because I want to see what it was really like. What's that?
Did you buy the Sea Monkeys?
Yes,
I had Sea Monkeys, but not because of comics. They were in the toy store. My mom but I went through several of those.
You really thought you were buying a family of like little humanoids. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I did think that at first, yes. And it was like, no, those are just little baby shrimp. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah. You had TR, and then it was Wizard, and then it was like in the middle of the comic, the bulletin board, which made like not Joe Quesada, but who was the editor? They always made fun. They always had like a one shot, like little comic thing that was always making fun of the Marvel editor at the time. Like that was just, yes, it was always like a standard, just constantly making fun of him. Like, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I don't think he liked it.
No, I can't imagine knowing some of the backstories. Absolutely not.
Did Twinkie the Kid ever get his own comic?
I don't think he was even in the Twinkie comics that were in comic books.
You're shitting me. That's not
okay.
Right.
I kid you not. One of the best things I ever did with my kids, one of my favorite memories that will flash before my mind before I die, was I got them to they didn't want to read my comic books. I couldn't sell them on that. This generation's not as much into that, but we got out all of my old Bronze Age comic books and would read the Twinkie advertisements or the Hostess advertisements in every single issue together. We do the voices and all that, and Twinkie the Kid doesn't ever appear. You'll have like Green Lantern, you'll have like Captain Marvel, Archie was in them, but Twinkie the Kid does not appear.
Ambush Bug will make up an appearance. Don't worry, he'll show up.
I would buy that in a second. I would love to see Ambush Bug in a Twinkie ad. That'd be incredible.
Yeah,
we can make it up. Speaking of, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that actually there's a big discussion about like comic book ennui when it comes to like properties like TV and movies and stuff. And I always said like that would be a way to really just kind of poke and wake everybody up, is bring back some old vintage characters they never heard of. In like a climax, like surprise, it's Power Pack, or surprise, it's like Ambush Bug. I mean, they did with I almost said Darkwing Duck. Jeez, Lewis. No, they almost did with Howard the Duck. Like when Guardians of the Galaxy, they were like, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy are retro as it is, but throwing like Howard the Duck in there and just kind of I don't know, revitalizes, I think, a little bit instead of like the same old. So anyway.
Hey, look, it's Chris Evans again. Although let's
no, stop.
The last Chris Evans appearance was the best Chris Evans appearance. It's going to be better than it's going to be in the next movie. I'm telling you that. I'm talking about Deadpool.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm just saying. Like the idea is like just what really needs to happen is bring some of these characters that we haven't heard of in a long time, and some like our family. Like I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy was a risk on its own. That's why it's just amazing. But I mean, that went through a lot of different iterations. So
I wanted to ask you if you it's a two-part question. The first one is, have you and your friends at CCF put out a product, have plans to put out a product, your own comic book, your own book, your own outside of YouTube videos, a feature-length movie sort of thing? Or have you been involved with others who have used your forums to put out their own material? Anything along those lines you'd want to mention?
Yeah, actually, we have some really talented people in the community who do produce their own comic books. So we almost like it would almost be insulting to be like, hey, can we have your talent making a CCF comic book? Because we have like the Crime Busters is one of the comics that one of our regulars does. There's another one called the Le Bras de Orion, which means the arm of Orion, I believe it is. It's a French Canadian comic that blows my mind. It's a interstellar galactic soap opera epic sort of thing.
Okay.
These guys are so talented, and I'm kind of just like, I know them. It's amazing. So yeah, we'll probably never put anything of our own, but I'd rather just sort of be a cheerleader for all the cool stuff that people in the community are already making. We have a whole section for original fiction and art, and some of it is, amateurs you'd expect, and some of it is honestly better than the stuff being put out by the big publishers right now.
Still creating at the end of the day. I mean, that's phenomenal.
I was wondering, like, how do you? I expected you to have people on your forums who are putting out their own stuff, but I wasn't sure about you guys because you are creative. Clearly, you have a passion. And I'm like, how do you not write a script and then find a pencil guy and like go through the whole process? Like, so, what?
Honestly,
do you want me to say a tracer? No.
What do you want, Tracer? God,
sounds like a really cool 80s sci-fi movie I want to watch. Tracer.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Hey, wait, did we just watch that? Was
my favorite character in Overwatch. I mean, but here we are.
That's awesome. Actually, in college, I was an English major, and one of my focuses was in creative writing, and I really thought I was going to be a writer one day, and I kind of realized pretty quickly that I had nothing to say. I love writing about and creating about other people's stuff. I love to play in somebody else's sandbox, but when it comes to creating my own stuff, I think there are better people for that. I would rather kind of find that stuff someone else made and be like, hey, this is amazing. Why don't you know about it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I applaud you because despite the fact that I've never succeeded over like massively in doing the creative thing, I still keep trying. I've never said, maybe I should just switch my focus. So like, but
you have,
yeah. But you clearly write your episodes, right? Like you're reading on a script. You're not improvising the whole time.
Yeah, I actually improving 90% of it. I come up with I come up with a very rough outline in my head, and I just start talking.
How much editing? How much editing?
I was gonna say,
my first
Jeff. Are you serious?
It's how I stay authentic. I probably should mention I'm a high school teacher. So I'm basically doing what I do all day long, pretty much. I talk more in the videos than I do in front of a class, but I'm kind of used to talking on my feet, and I used to overly plan my lessons, and I found that it made me a lot less human with my students. When you're running off of a script, there's no interplay. And when I make my episodes, this is going to sound really weird, but when I'm making my episodes, the person that I kind of have in mind that I'm trying to be is Steve from Blue's Clues.
Okay. I didn't get that, but
it's after my time. My kids grew up on him, but I read an interview with him one time where he said the way that he keeps it so personable is he imagines he's talking to one kid. And I was like, that's amazing. So when I make my episodes, I'm not talking to, the 4,000 people who are watching. I'm talking to one person, and I'm trying to just help them understand my enthusiasm. So I don't want to script it more than I have to. My first few episodes, actually, if you watch carefully, there are no edits. I did the original ones just in one take. I didn't know how to edit back then. I do now edit it quite a bit because honestly, with more people watching, I get more nervous. So I trip over my tongue more. Like, oh wow, people are actually paying attention. I don't want to screw this up. But at the beginning, it's just me just talking.
I will tell you, I get that ethos because the reason we're doing this live is I'm not if you give me the ability to edit out something stupid, I will take advantage of it. So if I'm live and it's going out there, I have to be on. I had to dig into your past, and you weren't obviously an easy guy to dig a lot of information on. Your Wikipedia page doesn't exist yet, but it will. Yeah, it's just, and I want to give the respect of talking to you like a human instead of, oh, we'll edit that out. Don't worry about that.
Right.
And then just some clumsy edit where we try to just jam stuff together. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But thankfully, people like you and a lot of other people, it's just great to talk to. Again, when you have that thing in common, you can do it. So that's great. High school teacher, though, no, I didn't get that. Blues Clues, definitely didn't get that. But the how you talk to the camera, I started to notice there are certain people that are talking to an audience. I watch a travel blogger, Mike OK, and in my mind, he's talking to the audience. He's not. There's not one person on the other side. And I watched somebody else. I want to say he's Musty. He does old car repair stuff, and he's talking to a person. I imagine every time he turns the camera on, it's like, "All right, Bob, today we're going to work on this," and he cuts out the "Okay, Bob" part. Like he's already addressed and said hi to the person this video is for. And he cuts that out, and then he lets you watch the video interaction that he's going to send to his friend Bob. Like it's a mindset thing that I try to get into too. But I've noticed if you pay a lot of attention, eventually it kind of comes through.
Yeah, I guess
I
Ernest did it even first. Remember Ernest with Havern back in the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Ernest Worrell. Ernest P. Worrell.
Ernest P. Worrell. Yeah, man.
I hated it back then. But he probably did it
I
first.
appreciate him now.
Yeah,
no,
no,
I didn't like it then. I didn't like the bit, but I appreciate him in ways that I couldn't have before. Like that he had to invent this and stick with it, and that wasn't really him.
An actor
those
from
sort of things,
Juilliard
yeah.
who was like a serious actor, but he found his Larry the
Yeah.
Cable Guy. I shouldn't even I should not compare, but like he was like a serious actor who found this and he just stuck with it. That is consistency. That is
You go with what you got.
Yeah. Hey, can I I hate to shift gears too hard here, Jeff, but like I gotta ask, like with you're a high school teacher, and clearly there's a big change in culture and whatnot. We just talked about pop figures earlier. With the students and whatnot. I mean, I can't imagine kids are grabbing, running to free comic book day or anything like that. How is that culture taking on? Is it more manga based, or is it like, are you seeing kids like grabbing books, or is it like, I remember when they tried to put them on Kindle for like 5 minutes, and that really worked out really well. So
there is a resurgence. There are some kids who are, largely from their parents. They have a passion for the old stuff. And they're not buying the crap that like Marvel's putting out now, where they're trying to like repackage the masterworks as like, little manga sized things. That's not appealing to them. They want to go through the old, $5 and $10 bins and find that stuff. There are,
it's a fun thing, man.
Yeah. You've got, talking to students today about My Hero Academia, manga's here. It does speak to them too. And some of it's pretty great. Comic books aren't dead. There is still a love for them, but even the kids who are into comics now, most of them aren't buying the new stuff. They're buying the old stuff.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Because there was a certain, and again, I'm not trying to be like old man Zaz here, but like there was a time like when we talked about Ides, which was just an iconic place in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and going through and just the smell of going through the comics and whatnot. And even if you didn't have the smell, do you guys remember the old Rob Liefeld days where you get a pack of comics that were all X-Men and everybody was Jack Diesel and they had a plastic, you'd open the plastic, you get one card and then like 4 comics in it, and they were all the same comic. But the thrill was still there, and it's like, is that passed down? Does that translate to this new generation? And do they want that or not? I mean, maybe, I don't know. We didn't have our heads screwed on tight. I don't know. It's just one of those things I always wonder, because I go through the Barnes and Nobles and whatnot, and you just kind of see like a lot of graphic novels and you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. But I mean,
there are still kids who like, it's fun. You have a kid coming who just discovered foil covers for the first time. It's like, or gatefold covers. Like, look, it keeps going.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will say the one thing I'll give props to the new generation: cosplay. Like, it is a whole different animal. Like, that is just amazing art. Like,
absolutely. And they know their stuff. Like, I had a kid just today. I don't really advertise him Comic Book Geek, but it's on my walls. You can see it. And this kid, I was not even one of my students, just came and started quizzing me about DC heroes. And he was like citing some really obscure stuff. And then he went to like Kirby's New Gods. And I'm like, dude, there's hope for the next generation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, that is deep cut. I love it.
Let me guess, you have on your chalkboard, A is for Avengers Assemble.
It's cute that you think I still have a chalkboard. That's amazing.
What, they don't have chalkboards anymore?
No,
you got rid of chalkboards now.
What
do you write on?
I've always wanted to kind of like do the thing, the screeching and like break the kids' eardrums, but no,
You know what
that's
works
all it
better?
does.
I always keep this app on my phone for when there's little annoying kids. They just have their phone on way too loud and they're hanging out too close to me, and I hate the sound of phone. I have the high pitch noise thing that
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear anymore that they can hear. I just play that and they go away. Like
That's amazing.
they can't even narc me out to their parents. They can't hear it either.
I still can, believe it or not. I don't know why. People
I've
can
lost
talk
two
to
of
me
the
and I can't
three.
hear them, but I hear that.
Two of the three, like I can no longer hear television, old CRTs, and yes, I have some. Because I'm old. My Commodore 64 collection. I have my Commodore 64 and the box it came in on and the receipt that my mother paid for at Hill's department store. Like, it is my treasure. And I also have an SX64 luggable giant monster that I got in a thrift store for $75.
Load star, 8,1.
Yep. I live that. I live
Yeah.
that. Also, I could blam like that. Like, it was one of those things we would see. You could type it the fastest.
Oh,
So you get your
yeah.
fingers in a certain position, and
Well,
you
when I
can
found out you could actually type
Commodore L or
basic
something.
codes into there, I was, oh my gosh. Pitfall, Congo, Bongo. It's all coming back to me. Look what you're doing. Nostalgia access.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, speaking of nostalgia, I did want to ask, because we were on IDES, we're on IDES. How did you find out about IDES? How did you first end up at IDES? Like, I'm curious because you're not a Pittsburgher. I had to know it because I'm a nerd in Pittsburgh.
Real quick, did you explain what IDES is? Because I feel like
we touched on it, but I will go into it real quick. IDES is a comic book store in Pittsburgh that's more than a comic book store. It's a music store. They have an upstairs book loft of weird and usually not in every bookstore books. Like Anarchist Cookbook was there. I don't know if it still is. They have a little bit of everything. Counterculture being, I would say, on the peak of what they're looking for. And we got jean jacket patches there. We got concert shirts. We got bands.
Josh actually lost his mouth virginity to a furry on the third floor of IDES. So yeah, yep. Sorry.
He's not there.
He was gentle.
Was there a question somewhere in there?
IDES.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
what? We do have many fine comic book stores. We have Phantom of the Attic, which I absolutely love. There's some really good stores on here, but IDES is the store.
Yeah. So back in probably 20 years ago, when my buddy and I both started getting back into comics at the same time, what we would do, we hadn't really discovered comic book conventions yet, and I'm glad we hadn't, because what we did instead that was so much more fun is we would, early days of the internet, we would, sort of search for all of the comic stores within a reasonable driving distance of us. And we would take a 2-hour trip out and see 8 comic stores we'd never seen before in that direction. So IDES, sorry to call it IDES. I never knew how to say it. IDES was probably, trip number 14, but it was by far the coolest store I've ever gone to. And I remember, and this is how magical this store is. I found 2 grails I never thought I'd own on the same day in that store on 2 different levels. And one was Silver Surfer: The Ultimate Cosmic Experience, which was the Jack Kirby Stan Lee reunion comic. That's the best Silver Surfer story ever told. And they had it just sitting there on the second floor, like not with the comic books, for $20. And I'd been chasing that thing forever, and there it was.
Snag.
The even better one was I wanted the first appearance of Man-Thing in Savage. Was it Savage Tales #1? I think so.
I would not be that guy. My buddy Will would. Yeah.
Besides, it's fun to say Man-Thing.
It really is at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I went in there, and on the wall they have Man-Thing. And I admire the Man-Thing, but it was way out of the price range as you'd expect the giant Man-Thing to be. And then I'm sad I couldn't have it. So I start going into their bins, and there's another copy of it sitting there, same condition, for like a fourth of the price. And one of the fun mysteries of IDES is that happens all the time. They have so many great comics, they're not even consistent in pricing them. So I got it for an insanely low price, and it made my year. And every time I go to IDES, I find a treat. There's always something there that I never would have expected to find at a price I never would have been looking for. And they should be paying us for doing this segment, but
they should.
If you've never been there, you got to go.
You got to go. You got to go.
It
was same thing.
I never walked out of there empty-handed.
Yeah, I walked out with a giant-sized Man-Thing.
And it was even winter time too, which made it really awkward.
Right.
Found every every issue of Preacher, but I didn't know what Preacher was per se. I just Wizard was like really pushing Preacher, and I walked over and it was like $1, and so I got issue 1, and then I went back to work, which was across the street. Read it. I was like, this is, I went back, another issue 2, and issue 3, and issue 4, and now I'm not working. I'm literally not doing my job, which was a very like I should not be working. It was like a way good job, way better than me. And I would just constantly just go across the street. And now like I'm an addict and I'm going back over for like, where's issue 7? Where's issue 34? Because I think it was 66 issues. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh. But Preacher by Garth Ennis is 66 issues or Jeff. Yeah, sorry. I apologize. But yeah, and it was like got through the whole thing in like 1 or 2 weeks for the price of $66. It was wow, this is amazing.
75.
Did you guys ever read that Stephen King novel, Needful Things?
No.
I'm not a. I was a Clive Barker guy more than Stephen King.
I'm not a Stephen King fan either, but it's usually a language people speak. And Needful Things it's this shop, and whenever you go into it, whatever it is you're looking for, it just magically appears. And I just kind of like that. Too many times I've been there. And I swear it seems like nobody's working. Like there's nobody around. And I'm just sort of looking around, and then suddenly you just notice something on the counter that wasn't there before. And you're like, who put that there? And it's exactly
Mogwai.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you're gonna find a Mogwai, it would be an Ides. If 100%, just so like if you've never been there, that's where you're gonna find. I've went in. I didn't work as close as Zaz did when I worked downtown, but it was painful. Like I had to avoid going in that direction because I could not walk out without something.
Right.
I would often walk in like, I'm going to look for this CD by so-and-so, and they wouldn't have it. Then I wander upstairs in the book section. I'm like, oh, he's wanted that book. Go to the comic book section. Oh, I can't believe that. Because again, I went through a phase in the 90s because it was so aggressive and everybody thought they were going to make their $1 million with comics as well. I have issue number 1s from comic book companies that didn't last issue number 2. I have a collection of those like nobody else because I always thought it was great to see people try. And I didn't mean that in a weird way. Like they got it out the door and I never did that. So I wanted to support them by at least buying one. And there was a lot of turds out there. Don't get me wrong. But like, so I'd go to Ides and like find me issue 1 of nothing. Nobody cares about, the box in the back with a caved in lid that has no cardboard backs in it. I want to look at that one. So yeah.
You'd find 2 Mogwai.
2 Mogwai.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, I do have a sequel.
Buddy.
I have a sequel written in my head for another Gremlins, but they'll never do it.
Aren't they doing another Gremlins now?
I think they said they're going to do it, but like my idea for the sequel is that'd be a little more fun.
Do we have time for you to pitch it? I kind of want to hear this now.
Oh, let's go. I am all for this. Yes.
No, because I can't remember all of my pitch. I have it written down actually. So it's a tease. I
hope at least
you on because we got to get out of here. We're running late.
It's no fun being the guest when the host has way cooler things to say than I do.
I don't.
Okay, just quick yes or no question. Is Belle Biv DeVoe in this at all? Because I have a weird feeling you're going to shoehorn in Mike Patton or Belle Biv DeVoe.
Patrick Stewart.
That Mogwai's poison?
No, it had something to do with some interesting trait about
Gremlins.
If you didn't turn them into something I wrote it around Gizmo specifically and breaking the rules in a different way. Like what if you didn't know those are the rules and it was a time zone thing? And I just got kind of weird with it and I kind of broke him. The Gremlins were not the same Gremlins anymore.
By the way, when is it not after midnight?
Exactly.
Thank you.
That was the kind of thing I was working on.
Air high five. There we go. There's that. Yep.
What if there's too much moisture in the air?
I mean, oh my God. The movie Signs with Gremlins. Was that the right one? Anyway.
By the way, I just saw Wizard of Oz at the Sphere in Las Vegas, and there's something I like to point out to people who love the Wizard of Oz. In the end, Toto dies.
Jesus. What the fuck? All right.
He does. I'm not making that up. When she gets back from Oz, she's in her bed surrounded by all these people. And I saw you there and you there and you there. Also, Elvira Gulch is still there and still has a note from the sheriff to put that dog down. That never changed.
Right.
Toto's toast.
I thought you meant maybe the tornado got him. That might have been
maybe
a less cruel death.
Right.
Louis C.K. pointed out that like her Auntie M was the first person to shut the door on her. Like the tornado was like, Dorothy. Oh, you're damn Auntie M.
Dorothy!
Get in the bed.
I just like that you dropped probably around $2,000 to go see this in the Sphere, and the first thought is you like overanalyzing something like Mystery Science Theater. Like, that dog's toast, guys. What are we doing here? Like, he dead.
Kill him. Half an hour. She's coming back for that dog, unless she got hit by the tornado. Wait,
I'm so amazed, the Tin Man didn't end Dorothy, because he's right there when she goes, Scarecrow, I'll miss you most of all. He's got an axe in his hand. I'm like, after all that,
bitch, I saved your life.
Wow.
The meme where it's like the Scarecrow had a gun the entire time and nobody talks about that. Like straight up a pistol. Like, and you didn't cast that once. Like, roll for bullets. I don't know. Try that.
Sorry. All right. We're gonna get out of here. And,
did we start the episode yet?
Okay, so now that we've started the episode, first question. You like comics, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I've heard of them before. They're good.
So listen, I wanted to make sure we talked about the classic chiller movies, the YouTube shorts thing. And by the way, did you know YouTube now has live shorts you can do? I don't know how to get them, but they exist. You can't find them. You have to go through shorts, and eventually one might pop up. But they're not limited. So I don't know why they're called shorts. They're vertical. More crap.
Anyway, YouTube for continuing to make things nobody asked for.
Yeah, and thrifting. I just wanted before we get out, do you still enjoy thrifting? Is there still pleasure in it?
Yeah, but not in person doesn't usually work for me because my tastes are too obscure now. But in a way, I think you can still thrift on eBay because you can find stuff that nobody knows what it is, and that's still the adventure. If you're looking for something like Optimus Prime, nobody's going to be selling one by mistake. But you get these random lots of like, I literally have Google search terms, unusual plus robot plus 1980s, and some crazy cool stuff comes up. I guess that's my version of thrifting. It's still fun.
No, that's great. And I just hope nobody else does it since we said it on the air, because that was the problem with thrifting. As soon as somebody found out you can make money on eBay, that was bad. And then when thrift stores found out they can make money on eBay, it became untenable. They have the glass cases with the expensive stuff behind it that they already priced. I'm like, I'll go on eBay and get that myself.
I miss the Wild West of eBay before there were even photographs, when people just had odd, vague descriptions of what they were selling, and you rolled the dice.
Good luck. I swear I have this. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, listen.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You go ahead. I wanted to ask my final question. Do you have anything cool coming up you want to talk about? Videos that you're working on? Anything you want to plug or promote? Because you're here because I want people to know about you. And I found you fascinating in the way you do it.
Well, thank you. Is there something specific planned? There's always things planned. Tons of things I'm working on. I never know what's going to be exciting to people and what's not. Some of the episodes I was the most excited about got 100 views. And some of the ones like the GoBots one where I was like, no one's going to watch this, blew up. So the best I can say is every Saturday at 9 a.m. I drop a new Beyond Transformers episode. Most Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. George drops his Classic Comics Are Great shorts. And in between sometimes we drop some other things as well. But the Classic Comics Forum, if you like talking about anything nerd related, 24 hours a day, there are people on there having conversations, including right now. And it's a place to make some great friends for life where real conversation happens. So check that out as well.
Thanks for coming here. Thanks for helping this community survive, to grow, to be a positive thing. It's rare these days to have such a close-knit community that's built around positivity and just to get away from politics. To not include that sort of stuff is hard. I know you're doing a lot of work, and thank you so much. Everybody, please support Jeff. Please check out Classic Comics Forum on the website and the YouTube. I found him via the YouTube. If you watch this episode, you're going to love what he has out there. So, Jeff, thanks for being here. I'd love to have you back sometime. You're an amazing guest.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure, and I can't wait to come back again.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. You have a great night. And again, comments, anything you want to send for Jeff, send it to us. Any links we have will be down in the comments below in the edited version. See you, everybody. Have a great night. Be safe. Have a great one. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. Treat each other well.